Hi guys, this is Elle and today we are setting up my 2020 bullet journal. I'm using the Scribbles That Matters 160 gram notebook. It's got this lovely charcoal hardcover on it so I can use it out and about with me as well. And I'm really enjoying it. It's lovely bright white paper, quite heavy so there's minimal bleeding through even when you're using watercolors or felt tips, things like that. So yeah, I'm really excited, so let's get started. So the Scribbles That Matter notebook comes with a pre-made key, so I don't need to make one of those. In fact, all I'm going to do is jot down the little icons I use for my tasks, things that need to be doing, dates I need to remember, important events, things like that. So I'm just jotting those down. So my first spread for my 2020 bullet journal is actually going to be a very nice title page. As you can see, I'm using some equipment to help me draw decent circles because who on earth can draw decent circles? And I'm going for kind of like a floral theme, but it sort of changes quite a lot throughout anyway. I'm not very good at sticking to a theme, especially when we're just doing setups. So this one I'm using the 0.4 Scribbles That Matter point fine liner. And then I'm going in with my Shirecky metallic pens. They're really nice to be able to use for detailing, especially because they can actually draw over the black pen as well. So if I make mistakes, it's not the end of the world. I'm adding in some sort of leaf motifs because, you know, I'm feeling positive. It's almost spring. Spring will be here soon. And yeah, I think it looks okay. I was trying to make it look like sort of vines sort of coming round the numbers. I'm not sure I quite achieved that, but I quite like it nonetheless. It's quite simplistic, really. Not much going on. I'm just adding in some extra little dots of the sort of the pink and the dark sort of rusty red colour just to give it a little bit more balance. I was originally going to put some more flowers on it, but I thought it was looking pretty busy, so I decided to leave that. And then I'm turning this into a Dutch door spread. And I love Dutch door spreads, which are amazing for sort of weekly spreads and things like that. I find for title pages, sometimes they cause some problems because the page behind it will show through. But yeah, I thought it turned out pretty well. Then on the other page, I'm just doing a nice quote page. I have this really nice quote. I've seen it all over Instagram and my Pinterest and things, and it's "Believe in the magic of new beginnings." And I just thought that was a really nice thought for the beginning of not only a new year, but a new decade as well. As you can see, because I'm using a fine liner, I am doing sort of fake cursive where you actually draw in the sort of the downward stroke to sort of get that depth there. But I think it looks okay. It's quite sort of stylized, but I think it looks quite nice. Then I'm adding in a banner in the middle using sort of some really nice shading ideas. I'll put some color on that as well. And then carrying on with my writing. I know it looks quite funky at the moment, but it does look a little bit better once I've got all of that shading in there as well. Okay then, well, moving on to our next page. So, like I said, with Dutch doors, I tend to find that you end up with a slightly odd space, and because you can see the page underneath it, it's quite nice to have some way of tying those together. So I put a quote down the outside which says, "Say yes to new adventures." So when you have the door closed, you'll still be able to see that quote, which I thought was quite a sort of a nice little tie together for those two pages. This is going to be my goals for 2020 page. I find that if I try and think of a load of New Year's resolutions, I never actually end up sticking to them. So I try and come up with maybe 5 things throughout the year. And they don't have to be massively big things, just to try and help achieve some things by the end of the year. So for instance, I'm actually really scared of heights. So one of my sort of goals for this year is to try and counteract that through a variety of different means. I also like to have a word of the year. For me, this year, it's going to be the word balance. I think that's really important. I work a lot of hours with my job and with all the other things I do, and I tend to find I don't actually have very much time left over for me. So this year, I'm hoping to really try and balance my life a little bit better. So that's my word. And then I've got some space underneath. I think I've put in 5 sets of lines, so I can come up with 5 goals for this year. So there we go. Right, moving on. This is a complete shout out to Amanda Rachley. I completely stole this off her. It is a grid spacing chart. As you can see, I'm putting in all the numbers, and it just saves so much time with spreads. I know loads and loads of really cool bullet journalists do it on sort of their YouTube channels and things like that. And I just thought it was such an amazing idea, I decided to pinch it. So I'm going in and I'm doing all of the spacings. I'm putting in quarters and thirds and halves as well. Makes my life really easy. Top tip, put it on the left side of the spread so you don't constantly have to be flipping the pages over to go and see it. On the opposite page, I'm doing a quotes page. The quote is, "Isn't it nice to know that tomorrow is a new day with no mistakes?" And it's from Anne of Green Gables by Lucy Maud Montgomery. And I thought it was just such a nice sentiment, the idea of every day being a new start and you can make it what you want it to be. And in a lot of ways, the new year is like that as well. It's a fresh start, it's a chance to do things over, to try again. And I thought that was a really nice sentiment to have in the beginning of my bullet journal. So moving on to my monthly log, this is just a space for me to jot down whatever's happening in the next couple of months, really over the year. If I have dates out in the summer, etc., like birthdays and my friend's wedding and things like that. I'm just going in and adding in the months of the year. This spread does actually go onto another set of pages as well. And then I will add in all the calendars afterwards. So that takes a while, as you can probably imagine. Okay, so this next page is one of those really boring ones. It's my bill tracker, trying to keep on task with like keeping up with my rent and all of that fun stuff. This particular layout I have seen a lot of other people do. I find it works really well for me because I just colour in each of the months as they go past, and I've paid off whatever it was. So I know lots of other people have done this kind of thing before, but I think it is really effective for doing these kind of things. I'm just putting in all of the lettering on the months there as well. So I've got 12 little boxes going up. I added in my title, and then I'm using my stamps just to put the sort of the name of the bill at the top of the column. I didn't realise how much I was using these stamps in this bullet journal setup until I had to clean my desk down afterwards and found all the ink everywhere. But I am completely addicted to them. I think they are so nice and really fun, sort of typewriter style font at the moment, so I'm really loving those. Then on the right page I did this really nice poem I found. It's by Anais Nin, and I'm really sorry, I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. And it says, "And then the day came when the risk to remain tight in a bud was more painful than the risk it took to blossom." And I thought that was just so beautiful, and again, thinking about starting the new year and sticking with my flower motif as well. Now on this page I am doing a films and TV to check out sort of page. My best friend is massively into film and television. He's always giving me lists and lists and lists of things to watch, and I never get around to it because I always forget. So I find it's really useful to have a page to be able to just scribble them all down and check them out when I have a bit more time. Just adding in some doodles there. I've got some film strip at the top, and I'm putting in like a little pot of popcorn. And then one of those really old-fashioned TVs, the kind you watch at your grandma's when you're a little kid, that kind of thing as well. And colouring those in too, just to have a little bit of a design on that corner. And yeah, I think it looked quite simple. And then I've got all that space just to scribble down things. It won't be a neat page particularly, but I don't think it really needs to be. On the right, I'm going to be doing 20 books to read in 2020 as well. I know 20 doesn't seem like a lot, but last year I managed like 15 because I work so much, so I feel like 20 is a pretty reasonable goal at the moment, and I can always go for more. So moving on to the final spread in this 2020 bullet journal setup, I am so excited about this setup particularly because I am going to Australia for a month in the summer, and I am so excited. I've never been before. I've never actually left Europe, so this is going to be a really big adventure for me. So on the left I am doing my travel savings goal. I'm just putting in the title there. And I thought it would be super cute to have all my saving goals in like little suitcases. So I drew out a bunch of little suitcases, and I'm going to put the saving goal in each of them, and when I reach that goal I can colour it in. I'm sure it's been done before, but I thought it was a super cute little idea. So yeah, that's what I've done there. Then on the other page I have drawn a little sort of design in the middle, and it's going to be a great space for me to be able to sort of write down any ideas, anything I want to check out. Sort of the bucket list kind of things for when I'm in Australia. So I started off drawing the world in the middle, sort of the globe, and by the time I drew it in pen I realised that you could barely see Australia sort of down at the bottom hand corner. So if I was to do it again I would probably change that. I added a little doodle of a camera, and then originally I was going to have a little sort of aeroplane coming around, but aeroplanes are hard to draw. I did a couple of times and they sort of just looked a bit squished, so I went for a little paper plane in the end, and I thought that actually looked really cute as well. Just adding some colour in, and yeah, this would be a great space for me to write down all the things I want to do when I'm out there. So there I'm finishing up that last little bit of colour, then I'm going in with my Shirecky metallic pens to add my title. It didn't show up as well as I wanted it to, so I sort of thickened it up a little bit and added in an outline with my black fine liner. It wasn't quite what I'd hoped for, but actually I think this is still a work in process. I'm still learning, and that's okay. So here is the final flip through of my new bullet journal. I was really pleased with how it came out. It was quite simple. There was nothing sort of too over the top in there. But yeah, I thought it looked okay, quite simple colours. But actually I think that sort of more minimalistic look works quite nicely, especially against this really nice bright white paper that the Scribbles That Matter notebook comes with. So I've got my goals to fill in just there, and the quote which you can see over my Dutch door. This grid spacing graph will be so useful, and I really recommend you set one up if you haven't already. My first year of bullet journaling, I would literally count out the dots every time I set up a page, and it honestly took forever. So this is a massive time saver for me whenever I do a new spread. I'm really excited for this new year of 2020, looking through this monthly log. There's a lot of change happening at the moment, and there's going to be a lot going on, so I'm really excited to see where the new year takes us. Thank you everyone who has watched this video. I can't believe I've actually got the nerve to put this online. This is part of my 2020 resolution to take more risks and try to put myself out there a bit more and be more brave. And I'm really hoping this is going to help me with my crippling fear of public speaking. So thank you if you have stuck it out to the end, or you even just watched for a little bit. Thank you very much, and hopefully I will see you soon. All right then, my lovelies. Bye.